So we're dealing with a system where there are a lot of issues which need to be addressed. Corporate philanthropy, I will restrict my comments to, why we are doing what we are doing at Bharti. I mean, for those of you who are not from India, Bharti is one of India's large corporates. Airtel, which is the telecom company, is our best known company, I guess. And our founder and chairman, Mr. Sunil Mittal, it was his vision that we need to go and do something beyond the call of business to give back to society. And that's how the idea of Bharti Foundation was born some 11 years ago. And then when it was established, we said, what to do with it? I mean, there's a foundation, there are corporate foundations, so what will we do? So we chose the area of education of underprivileged children as the area in which we would work on and concentrate and focus on. Started off as checkbook philanthropy in the year 2000, where we were supporting programs and NGOs who were doing excellent work in education. And obviously Madhav has something against us there. Why should corporates get into the sphere and execute themselves? But 5-6 years down the line, in the year 2006, the idea of what we call now the Satya Bharti School program was born. When our current Prime Minister asked Sunil that you need to do something about primary education, and Sunil said, yes, I will set up primary schools in rural India to give education to poor children who can't afford to go to school or aren't going to school because the government system is not working, which is largely true in the context of our country, unfortunately. So we chose areas, selected areas where there was community involvement, where we knew that we could get the wherewithal to establish schools and run them, get children. We did a little bit of survey around that, and set up schools. Initially primary schools, upgraded some of them to elementary schools, and today, to cut it short, we are at 254 schools across 6 states in India, addressing around 38,000 children. 5 of them are K-12 schools. The highest class is still class 8. Program is 6 years old. 62 are elementary schools, and the rest are primary schools up to grade 5. Now, coming back to education, I mean, this is why we are there, what we are doing. I mean, I can't answer questions in this few minutes as to why we are doing it ourselves, why is it an NGO doing this on our behalf. But we set about trying to create an idea which would, embody excellence in education, quality in education, create a model which is replicable and scalable, ultimately impact the government system, ultimately alight minds. All children of ours are first-generation learners. We want those villages and communities to start demanding quality and accountability from the government system. Maybe we would be able to teach them. Then we went about, setting up our schooling program, then started facing the challenges. How much time do I have? Maybe a couple of minutes. To set them up, I mean, what do we need? Teachers. Where do we get teachers from? Madhav spoke about it. I mean, the aspiration of people, the aspiration for English medium schools, the ability of the teachers that you get to actually, translate that aspiration into reality, not existent. An MA in English cannot write 2 sentences of English correctly. We have over 1,500 teachers today, all qualified. So, huge thrust area, how to firstly identify the best amongst what is available, to train them continually, to empower them, to skill them, to upscale their ability, to build their capability, to translate that into learning for children. Aspirations of parents. We said we will create we'll create a system. We will not subscribe to rote. We want to, focus on activity-based learning, play way, get children involved. We will focus on conceptual learning as opposed to, mugging. So firstly, you had to retrain the teachers. You had to address their belief system, a big challenge. And then you get down to actually translating it. You have parents coming back and saying, when my child, before they started going to your school, they knew 1 to 100 and they knew A to Z. And they knew it by heart. And now suddenly, you're not teaching them that. So what is happening? So we had to work with parents to get them to believe in what we are doing. And you can't show results overnight in an education system. We're still too young. 6 years is hardly any age in an education system. So that's the other challenge. And then technology. We started this system and IBM said, wonderful, we are your partners. We will give you 2 kid smart computers for each of your schools. That's fantastic. those beautiful colored boxes. We took them to our schools, and what happened? 50% of our schools didn't have electricity connection. So we got them electricity connections. You may have connections in India, but you don't get electricity. So you don't get electricity, how do you run those computers? How do you integrate that into your curriculum? We found answers, like we found solutions for teachers, we found solutions. We said, okay, whenever electricity comes, everything will come to a standstill. They will go into this room and the computers will be used for whatever we do. We design programs, we use programs designed by Ernst & Young and by Pratham, by Azim Premji Foundation to supplement our curriculum. Children, up to grade 3, for them it's more about hearing and learning, a little bit about understanding the computer. Grade 4 and 5, they get to handle the computer. In the elementary schools, there's a resource room. Then we said, now no more kid smart computers. We will give laptops to our head teachers because computers start getting stolen also. So laptops at least get charged at home and they come and you have 3 hours of usage available even if there's no electricity. So you found solutions. And gradually we are integrating that. We're getting into our senior secondary schools. We can't afford to have a smart class in every classroom, so we said we'll have a smart lab. We'll use it for hard spots in math, in English, in science and stuff like that. So it's an amazing program. I mean, there's a lot of learning happening. Challenges are immense. There are believers, there are disbelievers, but I would believe that we have made substantial headway. It is a program which is having impact. 254 villages where the schools are and maybe 1,200 odd villages which feed children into these schools is substantial. We are looking at starting some work with the government system whereby, we have some PPP schools, the senior secondary schools of the government of Punjab, where we contribute money equally to run them. We have some government schools that we've taken over, we put in our teachers and we are running them. So we are assessing them on a continual basis as to how they were and what they are now. And now we're looking at the next stage where can we work with government teachers to bring about quality improvement in government schools.